Recording in progress.
Recording in progress, yes. Oh, Lord. Oh, bear with. I'm tired, man.
I was going to say, here we have a tired Abby.
Hello. Oh, right. Hello, and welcome to... I need to turn that light off. Is that... Yeah, that'll do. This is a great start. Right. Hello and welcome to TT Conversations. This week, I hit my microphone. This week we have Joshua Griggs, who I will say this now because I'll probably end up calling it halfway through. We call him fetus because reasons.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
You're right.
Yes.
I'm not, no.
And that's it, we're done.
That's it for this week, guys. So next week I have TT Productions. So how I tend to work this is we kind of start talking about the stuff that you've done within TT and then we sidetrack to wherever the bloody hell we go. Yeah. So your first thing within TT, and well, by the time this comes out, you would have been in two things within TT. Was BV6.
Yes. Well, I was in like BV5 for like tiny bit, but BV6 was like my first proper
Yeah,
one.
you had like one line.
I had one line. But yeah, BV6 was the first one.
Yes, as Jack. And now you are basically just Jack on TT.
Just Jack.
Just Jack. How do you find it?
Oh no, I love it. I mean, I was so glad when we did BB6, I got my little recording box thing, but when we ended up recording it, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do most of the stuff with a bloody cover over my head.
Oh god, yeah. Imagine trying to do that all of that under a duvet, wouldn't no.
I would, because I remember like when we recorded the bits in BV5, I literally had the cover over my microphone and over my monitor as well, so I could still read the script.
I say that was only one line as well. So.
I know, and I was literally melting. But yeah, I mean, I'm loving. I love Jack.
I can't. We've got so much planned for that boy.
I know.
So much planned. Like, yeah, he's going to be around for a while. Is Jack no surname?
Jack no surname doesn't need one.
Doesn't need a surname. But he's basically our equivalent of Dodger.
Yeah, and in fairness, I'm happy about that because I Dodger's been one of my favorite characters for like years and years now. Like when I've always loved like Oliver Twist and stuff, and so that's sort of where my Victorian London love came from. And then when you said to me, do you want to play basically Dodger? And then I saw the name that his name was Jack. I was like,
he's literally Dodger.
He is literally Dodger, isn't he? And then yeah, so
I don't even deny that Dodger, Nancy, and Fagin are Sydney, Winnie, and Jack.
Oh,
like the urge for George to just sing "Got a Pick a Pocket" or two to stick her at some point is very high.
Or he's just humming it in the background.
Oh my god, we need to do that. It's out of context. Just have George just hum it for no reason. Yeah. Easter egg. It's hidden in there. Because obviously as well, because obviously Jack was in BB6 and then you were like, Abby, can I write a spin-off? And I was like, of course you can, because I'll say this now, I've had a few writers come to me now and I've only turned down one because the story didn't work, basically. So when you were like, yes, I'd like to do 2 seasons of this thing, and then I remember we were trying to figure out for ages, we were trying to come up with a title.
Yeah, and I remember the conversations. We were like, how do we come up with a a title for this series.
I can't. I wish I'd like saved all of the ideas we came up with, because I remember we were like batting around ideas for a good couple of days.
Yeah.
I can't even remember how we came up with Tusks. I just think it was a spark.
I think it was literally, it was either me or you. We ended up mentioning, because obviously
40 elephants.
It's the 40 elephants. So I think it was either me or you that ended up going, elephants have tusks.
There we go. It's in London.
How about Tusks of London?
Because I remember one of the ones we had was Elephants of London, and it was like that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
It doesn't sound like an audio about pickpocketers. Like, Tusks sounds more like a gang, a gang name. I'd love to know who actually names them the 40 elephants.
Who named the group the 40 elephants?
Yeah, who actually came up with that name? Especially, right, I reckon it was a man. And I reckon it was like a slide to the women. I reckon this man was a bit of a dick. There's 40 ladies, 40 elephants. You're a dick. It's like, it's a really cool name. No, it's not. He's just taking a piss out of these lovely women that are stealing stuff for you.
Oh no. That would be quite interesting to.
There's nowhere. Trust me, I've looked. You probably find it was like a nickname the police gave them, and then it just kind of spanned on from there. Yeah.
It is interesting though how there is like very little on them.
Yeah, because they're all like secretive and stuff though. I feel like that's the best way with like all these gangs and stuff, because the more they've done their job right if you can't find a lot of information about them.
Exactly, yeah. So it's very fun, because then we get a lot of creative abilities with them.
There's only so much information, and then we just kind of span it out a bit, like spread
Basically,
it.
with TT, we get this tiny little spark and we stretch it out.
That's what we do. Look at BV, for Christ's sake. Jenny is a match girl.
Jenny's a match girl. Here's 7 stories.
Here's 7 stories. That's how we work. So there's this gang called the Tusks, 40 elephants, who nick from shops like Selfridges. Okay, I'm going to do 2 seasons. Right, happy days. All of which I think at the moment 1, maybe 2 episodes actually feature a department store.
Probably, yeah.
2 and 3.
Yes, and then 4 doesn't. 4 is very the final episode 4 is very much a go far away,
go to other places and meet other people.
Yeah,
and then season 2, we got to put a shop in there somewhere.
Yeah, we need more shops. Well, no, there will be one in season 2, obviously.
Oh yeah, fair one.
Yeah.
I just want to put Selfridges in it, and it's really annoying because Selfridges can't be till like the later end. Purely because I used to love the TV program.
Oh yeah.
But Selfridges didn't open until like 1910, and obviously we're in the 1890s, and I'm like, for Christ's sake, it's like
can we just do some sort of
20
time
years?
Jump?
We love a time jump, but to the like. It has to make sense. It's not, we've done a time jump because Abby wants to set something in Selfridges.
However, Abby wants to set something in Selfridges.
Coming soon. That's the audio. That's what it's called. Abby wants to set something in Selfridges. And the other role, you've had 2 other roles, one of which isn't out for ages, so I'm not even going to mention that one, because you're not in it for very long anyway, because I shoot you.
Oh yeah, that one. I was just sat there for a minute going,
what else am I in?
Which
I kind of kill you.
Yeah, I remember that. No.
That's fun, that one. But
Yeah,
that's not out for ages. But you're in R101.
Yes.
By the time this comes out, it would have been out already. so we can talk about that. To be fair,
Okay.
even though you've not actually listened to it
No,
yet,
I've not
that's
listened to
tomorrow.
it. All I know, yeah, that's tomorrow for us. All I know is it sounded brilliant during the read-throughs, and then it sounded with the cast we had on the first recording, it sounded great.
It was the weirdest split, because the first lot of people I had in, it felt like I had all the thespians. It was really weird. And then the second lot was all the lads. It was literally like going out drinking with the engineering department in the military. That is the way I would describe that second recording, which is funny because most of the second recording were the people classed as engineers.
I think we can blame one man for that, Chambers.
That's true. But it was. I just love the fact that the people that I cast as engineers, I felt like I was like out with the engineers in the Navy. It was a surreal experience.
Yeah.
It just went from thespians to engineers. It was a weird split. It was really, really weird. But how did you find doing R101? Because like I said, it would have been out. And if you've not listened to it, stop listening to this now and go listen to R101 and then come back and listen to this. Because we're going to talk about it, because why the fuck?
Yes, spoilers ahead.
Spoilers.
I loved R101 so much, because when you messaged me about it saying that you really wanted to make it, I was literally there just going, yes please, yes please, yes please. Because my very first ever Big Finish audio I ever listened to back in 2017 now was Storm Warning. That was my first ever Big Finish audio, and obviously that's the whole setting is the R101, and I loved that story. And yeah, getting to do the real historical-ish tale of it, it was very fun. Yeah, I mean, I loved how it was set out as well, because it felt like you definitely had those little groups of people in each part of the ship, and they were very much to those groups.
I will say this, when I wrote it, because obviously, like I said a minute ago, I'm ex-military, so I kind of wrote it how people, the little groups that had formed on board ships, like you automatically cling to like said departments within a ship, so it was very much written like that. But I'll say this, most people in R101 didn't audition.
No, yeah, I didn't audition, did I?
Literally 95% of the cast, I basically asked them to be in it. So
it's one of those rare occasions.
Yeah, because I am usually that person that's like, no, if you want to roll, even Chelsea, even though she's in everything with TT, every single role she's had within TT, she has auditioned.
And there's a reason why she gets every single one of those roles.
She's bloody brilliant. But no one auditioned for R101. Like Dominic G. Martin was like, oh, do you want to come and play a coxswain on the R101? He's like, yeah, sure. It was the weirdest thing. And then Chris Walker Thompson, and then obviously, and then there was like, well, there's two lads, so that's obviously got to be Jack and Raz. Like Jack.
Fetus.
Josh. Fetus and Raz, like, but I will say this. We discovered this when we were recording Tusks.
You
sound very similar.
I noticed that when I was listening back to it, like when we were doing the premiere for Tusks episode 1, I was listening back to it and I was going to myself, God, I didn't realise I was playing two characters.
No, that's the thing. And it was he does like we called it his James Bond voice when he was in R101. So that it's a little bit different, but like the bit towards your like demise when you're both singing, I really struggled to figure out which track was the noise. That was really weird. But
you know what? Me and Raz should just start a harmony group together.
But it worked out. Like, I say this with the R101 because most of the people who I cast in it had only heard of it because of Storm Warning. I only learned of it because of Storm Warning. And
Yeah.
I remember when I started promoting it, Connor was like, "Oh, is this about Charlie?" And I was like, "No,
this is the real thing." In fairness, I genuinely thought the R1. I didn't realize the R101 was a real thing.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't.
I only realized I realized the R101 was a real. After I listened to Storm Warning, I thought it was just a fictional location, and then, God, it must have been like when I was in like some sort of, I think it was a chemistry lesson, and they literally played us a video of the R101, and I looked up and I just went, "Oh."
You know what I'm like though? I try to introduce, like Fozzie Jaw in BV, where I killed off Joe Eddings in episode 3. Her face literally fell off, bless her. But I try to get people to learn but not realise they're learning, which is something we don't do in Tusks.
No, we really don't.
It's really weird. Usually I'm like, we must secretly sneak something in there that's real life, and I'm like, no.
No. Meanwhile,
No.
Tusks
We
is that
have
one
nights.
series where you just go, sit back.
Yeah,
listen,
you don't
have a
learn
laugh.
in Tusk. It's just Sarah
No,
Jane
you don't,
meets
because
Dodger.
because half the characters in Tusks are thick as hell.
They're caricatures. It's very much written like Charles Dickens. Like whenever you look at like cartoons from a Dickens story, they're all very like extravagant, and that is literally, if Tusk was on telly, I'd love to have seen it been drawn like a Victorian caricature. That would be amazing. Like, because that's what I would have liked for the covers, but obviously I couldn't find anyone to do it. Yeah. Resume. So
Here we go.
So so talk about like what you plan to be doing with Jack without giving too much away.
So basically, I plan to do a thing
with a person, and then there's other people,
and
there's other people, tiny people,
other people, and there's a mole man.
Okay, that doesn't work.
No. So with Jack, well, I sort of, with, as you'll see through Tusk's series 1, he's definitely going to start, you'll see him start slowly maturing. I definitely
stepping away from Sydney. I think that's like,
yeah, that's one of the main things that will happen throughout Tusks, is he starts to become much more independent, but still an idiot.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he'll start to mature a lot more, especially near the latter half of series 1. At least he definitely does, because in series 1 it only takes place like a few months after BB6. But yeah, obviously, I don't know, can we talk about
well, we can talk. Yeah, we can talk about our new recruit.
Yeah,
because she was in
behind the duvet of episode 1. Yeah, so we can talk about it. So
we have a new recruit.
We've got a newbie again. And so Catherine is basically going to be playing one of the other main new Tusk members called Mabel, and she's sort of like, she's basically the person to like link with Jack, because they're the same age pretty much, so they grow together.
As much as everybody thought it was going to be Sticker, hang around for that, guys. Can't wait for that reveal.
Nope. But no, I loved writing Mabel as well, because going back to the whole thing of them being very much character.
The what?
I can't say caricature. Caricatures. There we go.
I turn into Charlotte Pollard when I say that.
You go very Charlotte Pollard. Caricatures, Doctor.
Caricatures, Doctor.
I with Mabel, she's very much, because Sydney, Winnie, and Jack are all based off like Dodger, Nancy, and Fagin. Mabel is very much a character based around Polly from the Dodger series.
Yeah.
And a lot of her, and I took a lot of inspiration from that character because I was binge watching Dodger constantly as I was writing Tusks.
I done the same with episode 3. I think like whenever we write Tusks, it's like I must watch Dodger now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the new 3 episodes coming out this year for Christmas.
Yeah.
That'll be great fun. That'll be very helpful.
We're definitely gonna have to do a Tusk Christmas special next year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not this year. We've got too much on, but definitely next year.
We have more important things.
Yes.
But yeah, she gets a fun story as well, coinciding with Jack, and I love the ideas that we've got for what could happen next for Jack and Mabel.
I do. I feel like we need to try and push Tusks again because I feel like it needs more love than what it's got so far.
Well, I mean,
I know they always say never judge by views, but I judge by views.
I was about to say, however,
if I get over 100, I'm happy. Tusks haven't quite got there yet. Not quite.
So basically, you're saying it's shit.
No. It will, like, I'll probably promote it again. I think the thing with Tusk is because obviously it's an original. That's why I'm trying to be like, Tusks is like Dodger and Sarah Jane, which is great. Apart from the fact that you have nobody to explain anything when stuff happens.
You don't have any technobabble person.
No.
You don't have a smart person.
It's not like Paternoster, because I'd say I have that trouble with Pat Gang, but Vastra is the one that knows all the stuff. So when it comes to the technobabble, Vastra's like, oh yes, well my species did this, that, and the other, Jenny.
However, with Tusk,
you have no one to do it.
Yeah, it's literally like there's a line in. It's not really spoilers, but there is a line in episode 2 where literally every single member of the team's like so confused how it happened, and then Jack literally just goes, "Oh no, don't care."
I love the end of 1 where Sydney tries to turn it into a lesson for Jack, and it's like, "What are you doing? Why?" It's like, "We always need to be prepared." I'm like, "What?" I love it.
A guy has just died.
Sydney's literally like, how can I make Jack learn from this situation? We always need to be prepared, lad. It's brilliant. I love it.
And then I love George. I love how George brought this up during the Behind the Duvet, but it is so true about the Tusk team, where it's like Jack's always like, "Oh, we'll go to Sydney. We'll go to my pa. He knows everything." Goes to Sydney. What?
I got a fucking clue.
I ain't got a clue.
I love this character brief where it was like, oh yeah, he's like a cop that's just about to retire.
Yeah. He's like,
Perfect. I will say this though. I could hear both of you struggling when we were doing the bit in the nose in R101. You know, when you go to wave goodbye to England, and I could hear both of you try not to be Jack and Sydney.
Yeah. Well, I swear when we did the read through, George did accidentally turn into Sydney.
I did tell because I told him off. I was like, why are you being Sydney? But I wouldn't mind, but that scene, because R101's been one of those scripts where I've been dipping in, dipping out, and I'd write like a random scene and then be like, where the fuck can I put this? So none of those scenes were written in the order that they're shown. I just kind of went, that can go there, that can go there, that can go there. And that scene was written before Tusks was even considered.
Right.
And technically before both of you were asked to be in it as well. So I find it quite funny that you've both ended up in that sort of a scene.
Well, isn't this a coinky dink?
Yeah, I think the only thing that would have made it worse is if George had played the cook.
Oh no, that would have made it so much. That would have made it so difficult.
Especially when he has the line, because obviously it's Strax that plays White the cook, and he's like, "Oh, you'll be a good chef." You'll be a
I
good
was about
cook.
to say you'll be a good chef, kid.
Yeah, George would have just turned into Sydney if he had to have said that line.
Speaking of R101 though, I will say this though. Thank you for finally letting me sing in audio.
Yay!
Even if I am dying.
Oh, that was such a pain to edit.
Was it?
So when you sing, I've had this problem before because in BV2, there's a scene where the O'Neills sing Bank of the Roses in the house.
Yeah.
And for some strange reason, like talking, you're fine. Like if you leave a gap or if you interrupt, it's fine. But for some strange reason, when you sing on Zen, it never comes out the same on the same track. So you could be singing dead in time, but the track will be slightly it's shifted. It's the weirdest thing. So I'll play it and I'll be like, it's a long way, it's a long way, it's a long way. So I had to like shuffle all these bits down and up and like round and like I've got a lot of singing in Molly too, so I'm gonna have to do that a lot. Like I don't know why it does it. I don't know. It's bloody annoying. But it's like it's a long.
Just leave it as that for the audio.
It's a long. It's just a round now. They're dying, but they're doing a perfect round.
Oh no. I did love it though. It was such a I loved the scene as well with before we started singing. It was a beautiful scene. Genuinely, I loved it. And
I think see, it'd be interesting to see when you lot listen to it. Especially you and Chelsea. Because you and Chelsea cry at my audios. It's brilliant.
Yes.
I don't know what that says about my writing.
You've been able to you've been able to break me so many times. You broke me with my own audio.
It'll be interesting to see the emotional damage I cause.
You will break Chelsea.
Chelsea will lose it. I think because obviously I've seen R101 in particular from start to finish, and then obviously I've edited it, and then I've had to listen to the scenes over and over and over and over and over and over again. I'm not emotionally attached to. I am emotionally attached, but like it's really weird to describe.
You're not gonna. It's because you've done it so much.
Because I've listened to it so much.
You're not gonna have that initial like feeling of it.
It's one reason why I always worry. Because all the like other audio editors will get this, especially Connor probably. But when you have an audio come out, because as an editor you've listened to it over and over and over and over again. So I'm sat there at the premieres and I'm watching everyone and I'm sat there, I'm like, is this boring? Because I'm bored. But I'm only bored because A, I have ADHD. And B, I've listened to this thing over and over and over and over again. You know?
I get what you mean, because when I made as I like to call it, the audio that made me want to stop everything.
Josh is not an audio editor.
I don't have the patience to edit audios, especially when I hate my mouse. Literally, it does not want to do what I ask it to do. But I remember, because I had to constantly go back over and over and make sure all the timings were perfect. When it came to releasing it and I listened to it, I was sat there going, it's all right. Because you know what's coming up as well. You know what's happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like as an audio editor, it's both a charm and a curse at the same time.
Well, it's like having to. Let's use cat meows as an example. So we use something called epidemic music, and obviously we pay for that. But we type in cat meows, and there's like 70 different cat meows. So I'm having to sit there listening to all 70 different cat meows to get the right one. Oh my god, it's such a pain. Or like fire sounds with R101. I got 19 different fire sounds.
I mean, I've got like a massive like file that I got given by my dad, and it's literally just got a ton. It's got like 800 odd sound effects, and that's usually what I use for all my audio editing. I usually used those sound effects, and it did become a bit of a pain where I was like, right, okay, so I need this, so I need to click and click and click, and there it is. No, never mind.
Because I wanted everything to sound like it was in a different compartment, because I wanted it to be obvious that you'd moved to a different part of the ship.
Yeah.
So I'd have like 3 or 4 different layers of different fires in different ears and stuff to make it sound like you were in a different like material, as weird as it sounds. Because obviously where Clark and Jones are is a completely different place to where you lot were. So I wanted to make it sound. And then you got like Chris Walker Thompson's character in the fucking smoking room
all the time.
Oh my god. I kid you not though, there is always, they're called stokers in the Navy. There's always that chief stoker that if he doesn't have to work, he won't. And he will be just tabbing up. Like he will just be on the upper deck having a cigarette. And that is 100% why I based Chris Walker Thompson. Literally, Chambers has that line, and he's like, "Do you actually ever work, or you just loaf around in here?" He's like, I love it.
I feel like that was like a perfect character for Chris to play, because obviously within TT he's played Joel obviously so far for Last of Us.
He was the dodgy priest in Scarlet Lost.
Oh yes, he was.
He was the chatty priest. He'd be like, "Oh, come to my confession box. I won't tell anyone. Have you heard about this person?" Like, just like the gossiping priest.
And so I feel like it's a much more chillaxed character for him to play, and I mean obviously it's Chris Walker Thompson, so that
he's never played the same sort of character, because he was Molly's Star as well.
Oh yeah, I remember.
He was an absolute.
He was so good.
Oh, but that character is such a dick. But he did it so well.
Him and Vanessa together were just.
Oh, I want to get them together again because their chemistry was crazy good. But yeah, Chris is coming back in a few more things in the future, so
yes,
keep an eye open. Mainly in the Paternoster gang, but you'll see.
Just stroking the cat.
So what are you writing at the moment? Are you doing TT stuff or?
I'm currently
You're doing Doctor stuff, aren't you?
I'm doing Doctors. I'm doing a lot of stuff currently. I'm like juggling a lot of things. So
mood.
I was about to say yes. So you.
Hello.
Watch me. Watch me. I can do tricks. Look at all these stories I'm juggling.
Oh, look, and there's my child as well. Look, he's up there too.
So currently, off the top of my head, writing wise, I've got my episode for Future. For Future Doctor.
That's going to be so much fun, that one. I've seen like the synopsis. Oh yes.
I can't wait to.
It's going to be a lot. It's probably not going to be out till about like.
No, it's not. It's not going to be out till like next year.
It's not going to be out till like June.
most of the stories I'm writing won't be out until next year.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's fine.
In all fairness, what I'm writing at the moment is not out till next year now.
Yeah, I know. And then I've got, obviously I'm writing that episode for Dickensian, which I'm still bloody stuck on.
You've got a while before Dickensian though. There's no rush.
And then I'm writing one of the episodes for Queer Doctor Series 4.
So you're literally writing for all the TT doctors.
I get to write for them all.
Other than one at the moment.
When I wanted to message. The sole reason why I wanted to write for Future was so I could have all 3 of them.
Fair.
So I could have written for all 3 of them. And when I came up with an idea I loved, I immediately went, no, actually, I really want to write this now.
Ian!
Ian, please.
Let me, please. Because I'm writing for Future as well at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, which is weird. Because like I said to Chambers on his one, I haven't written a Who episode, like a proper full-on Doctor Who, since Edge of Yesterday, which is nearly a year old.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Because I write historicals on that side of TT, so it's really strange for me. But in all fairness, it's not like, I won't give too much away, but it's not like I'm writing an episode set on a spaceship. It's not like full on Who. It is a historical, but it's an historical Doctor Who.
It's a Who historical.
Yeah, definitely. Which is nice, because if he'd talking about Edge of Yesterday, that was literally on a spaceship. It was basically Chimes of Midnight in space. That was basically what Edge of Yesterday was. So yeah, I'm glad it's not set on a spaceship.
I mean, I'm loving writing for Future currently. I mean, it was tough for me because I felt like I would have a difficult time trying to understand the Doctor and Nevaeh. But then going back over the Future stories that have already come out, so Keeper's Daughter, and then because Miasma Part 1 hadn't come out when I started writing
Future Selves as well.
Yeah,
Future Selves. Keeper's Daughter, I love that one because I got to play the Keeper. I got to use my Joanna Lumley voice, so that was fun. Also, when we recorded that, I was high as a kite because
oh yeah, because didn't you just have the box built in?
I just put all my foam pads up in my recording studio, and the paint, the spray glue was still wet, so I was basically in there, like floating around. It was so funny. There's so many outtakes for that. But I had to say physician.
Oh yeah, you hate that word.
I couldn't say it. It was so funny. I should go physician. It was a disaster. Oh Lord.
But it came out all right in the end.
Yeah, it did eventually. Yeah, but don't record just after you've sprayed all your foam panels up on the wall.
If I could describe my episode of Future without giving too much away, I'd probably say it's the most meta story I've ever written.
Hands down. Yeah.
I've written other Doctor Who stories, audio dramas before, and I've never written one like this before, and it's so fun because I literally go mental with it. But then obviously the episode with Dickensian and Queer, I'm not allowed to talk about.
Oh, actually, no, I can't tell you that. I'll tell you after the recording because I just got cast in something that you wrote.
Oh,
for Overton's.
Oh.
I can't say because I don't know.
No, you're not allowed to say.
Damn it! How dare I work for like I see Overton's as like our sister company now. It's just like no, god damn it!
I think I know what you're talking about.
I'll tell you afterwards. And
yes,
everybody who's intrigued, you'll just have to wait until it comes out in Overton's.
Wait a while. Wait a long.
Which, knowing Overton's, will probably be out this time next year. Let's face it.
Yeah.
It's Connor. Come on.
And then I'm writing a script. It's literally the logo's on my computer currently right now, so it's just jogged my memory. Obviously, I'm planning Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh yeah. Oh god, yes.
I cannot wait to get working on that. So good. That will turn out so much fun.
Especially as all of us have been practicing our Yankee Doodle accent.
Yes. And I've literally just sat here just gone, I have a cast.
Hello.
All right. We got ourselves a cast. And Doctor Who, specifically Doctor Who. I'm writing a story for Eamon Longman for his Doctor.
Yeah.
That is a very, very fun one. I'm not too sure if I'm allowed to say anything about that, but
That is the end of that story.
I'm very excited to
Is
write
it
that
NDA?
one. I wasn't given anything.
Ooh, don't
Not my fault.
Don't get into trouble.
Yeah, I know. Connor knows far too much.
I literally like whenever Connor's like, no, shush, stop talking, shush.
Yeah, it's literally.
Nope.
I genuinely, when I was talking about something on a Zoom call we did a long time ago, and Connor was on it, and it was everyone from like the DW 2012 Discord. I was talking about stuff, and then suddenly I got sent a message from Connor.
Stop.
It was just a picture of Kevin Feige's face.
Oh, brilliant!
He is genuine.
I love that man. I absolutely love Connor. Like,
he's genuinely like Kevin Feige. He's such a sweet guy, but dear God, he scares me sometimes.
You know, though, like whenever anybody asks me who I look up to, there's two people, and that's Connor and Jed.
Oh, Jed.
Like, Jed is so underappreciated. I feel like Connor gets so much love because he's flipping amazing, and everybody seems to forget about Jed.
Jed's work is genuinely incredible, especially because when we watched like one of his older fan films he did a while back, I was looking at it and I was sat there just going, "This is fucking brilliant."
I love
this is better than half the shit we get now.
I sat down
yeah,
because I'm trying to think if we mentioned it on his TG conversation. I can't remember, but basically he's asked me to write something for somebody in Nexus Point. Yes. And so I done a re-listen to just like jog my memory on Zed character, and I absolutely love Nexus Point. It needs to be the size of the cast and the amount of time it must, because it's a puzzle piece as well. It's old school, send in your lines and we'll super glue it together. I salute him for such a big project, especially as most of the people are just TikTokers. They're not even like professional. That was my first acting role.
That was my second acting role.
Yeah, that was my first.
And I was so, because with the whole Nexus Point thing, I played the Mariner in the little prequel mini-sode.
Yeah.
And then that I love playing the Mariner, and I was so annoyed that they were dead.
Can I have more, please?
And then when I got to play the operative,
the operative, yeah, the operative,
yeah, the operative. I love playing that as well, and genuinely, when I was listening back to it when I started coming in and I was doing my stuff, and I was listening over to it, and I was just sat there going, I sound good in this. This
is the thing, like, don't get me wrong, it has taken a while to come out.
Yeah, but
which I completely get. But if anything, it's worked to its advantage because I've completely forgotten. So I'm literally listening to it like a listener rather than somebody who's recorded it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I love it. Do you know who I love in it? It's a really weird thing. You know, when you hear someone's voice, I had this with Chris Walker Thompson when I first heard him. And I fell in love with his voice. And I've kind of had, there's a person in it called, whose credit is Fireflies.
I know who you mean, yes.
Yeah. And I heard her voice and I was just like, I'm actually in love with this person's voice. And I'm like, you're my favourite voice in this. It's the weirdest thing. Like, come work for TT.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head who she plays.
She's one of the doctors.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. She's got like a really calm, soothing, she sounds like the sort of person that would be good as a therapist. It's like
Come to TT, where
come
all of our
work for
characters need
TT.
therapy.
Oh yeah, 100%. Hands down. Hands down. It's only just begun. Molly 2's out in a couple of weeks, guys. It's only just begun. Oh, you're in that? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have been out by the
I'm not ready for that.
I don't know if that would have been out by the time this comes out. I'm trying to think. It probably would have been. Yeah, I think it might have been.
I was about to say, it depends how quickly you edit it.
It's me. Come on, I'll have it done in like 4 days.
Fair enough. But yeah, that Nexus Point, it's why I will always and forever love working for Jed whenever he puts me in something. Or
Literally, he could cast me as, I don't know, a really, really rubbish character. That'll never happen. But like, I could have 2 lines and I would still quite happily work for Jed.
My love for Jed is the fact that he will literally do whatever the fuck he wants.
Oh yeah, he don't care. He loves it.
When we did the writers chat for the Patreon,
Patrons,
yeah, that was so much fun though, to just hear him talk about writing and stuff, because I loved how he was talking about the fact that he does not give a damn about canon. If anything, if
blow stuff up.
If anything, if people get mad at Chibnall for canon, he will blow that out of the water. And I loved it though, because it was so fun. It was such a unique thing, and it really just made me go,
yeah,
that's perfect.
That's the way to see it, especially with the Doctor Who stuff, because
Yeah.
he's starting to do Star Trek stuff as well now, and I'm so looking forward to that.
I'm so excited for that. You know why, probably.
Well, yes, duh. I've auditioned for like 6 roles in that. I'm determined. I know I'm in some of the, like, because he does like pre episodes as well, doesn't he? And I know I'm in some of the pre episodes, but I've auditioned for like 6 or 7.
I've not auditioned for any of the crew members solely because of
that reason, yeah.
Solely because of who I am in the series.
But oh no, I love both Connor and Jed.
Yeah,
it's been amazing.
Another thing about Jed though is, and this is why I love Nexus Point so much as well, is the fact that it's taken long, not only because it's a puzzle piece, but Jed's composed the music. He's made the music for that entire for a 7-part series, and even for the prequel episodes.
Yeah,
and it's incredible. And I love him. I love his composing. I really need to start like paying him, because I keep coming to him and just going, Jed,
maybe music, please.
Could I have this little track made, please?
See, but I'm the one that always throws in a curved ball, because so far, music wise, for me, he's not done any Who. He's done Scarlet and Molly, and I'm thinking of asking him to do Match Girls. So I'm literally like, all those synth and sci-fi sounds that you want to use, please abandon them away, and replace them with pianos and violins.
I set it because for a thing I'm not allowed to talk about as of yet, because he made a theme for the theme.
Oh yeah, I know what you're on about, but I'm not going to talk about it yet.
And I love it so much, because I told him the title of the series, and then I told him I gave him like a very tiny brief thing about what the series is, and then he came back with that, and I was like,
brilliant.
Ooh. And then literally all I said to him was, can we just add a little bit more bass to it, and it sounds perfect.
Love it. He's brilliant. So the next thing you're in for TT is Molly 2.
Yes.
And that's not a massive role.
No, which I'm happy with.
However, an actual person. That's an actual person. You're an actual person. Yeah.
Oh.
You are an actual person. So he owned the Flower and Dean DOS house, which kind of shifts me off a little bit, because all the other characters that I've had sleep in DOS houses have been on Dorset Street. But it's very much a Mary and Joseph kind of situation. Pregnant woman shows up. There's no room at the inn. Go round to the shitty one. So you are the shitty one. But it
always ends up being me that's the complicated person.
It's true. But he the reason why the Flower and Dean Dorset house Doss house has such a reputation is because all the other ones had like segregation, whereas that one was just like free for all, male, female, children, just fucking crack on, do what you want, which is great in Victorian society.
Yeah.
It was known to house a lot of prostitutes. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, obviously. But yeah, we got two actual people in Molly too, which is great because the other actual person is being played by Mart. Who hasn't actually been in TT. He's recorded with TT. He's in Last of Us, as are you. Episode 2, but that's not out for ages. But yeah, that's his first like full-on proper role within TT.
I was about to say I'd love to get Martin to play a character for something, and then I just went to, and then it
you have
popped in my head. I was just like, hang on, I've already
done it already. We've done this.
I love Mark's voice.
Yeah, he's another one. It's a strange one. Like I don't know, it's really hard to describe Mark's voice, but he has got a really nice calming voice again. He's one of those kind of calm and collective voices.
Yeah.
I'd love him to read an audiobook.
Yeah. Do like what like Alia was doing with like that book she was for.
Literally, I'd quite happily listen to Mark like sit there and like read me a story. Come on, Mark.
Here we have bedtime stories. This is a
bedtime stories by Mart.
With Mart. You know fully well that's going to happen.
Bedtimes with Mart. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. God. I'm gonna be like, you need to listen to Josh's TT conversation, Mark, because you feature why bedtime stories. He'll be like, you are.
Just listen.
Just listen.
Are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then listen.
Good. Listen.
Yeah.
She is considering the last role he done was gun wielding hunter.
Oh yeah.
He's like bedtime story man, gun. Oh no. Yeah, I'm looking forward to working with him more. I really am. And there's another project that I'm going to announce the cast before this comes out anyway, so I'm going to mention it. Shutter.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh. Oh no. I was genuinely over the moon with getting put into Shutter. Genuinely, I was so happy about that.
I'm well excited to do it because obviously this is Alia's like first script for TT, so it's nice to see. It's like when just Chelsea directed R101, so it's quite nice to get Alia in to direct and write for a change.
Oh no, it's going to be so much fun because I remember sending in my audition for it, and I mean I knew fully well that I wanted to play Jimmy because he was the only character I could audition for.
That's true.
Because yes, I'm going for characters my own age.
Makes sense.
And I sent in the normal audition lines, and then I was sat there for like a solid 15 minutes or something, going to myself, shit, what monologue can I do? And then I was genuinely sat there messaging Alia, going,
what do I do?
Help! And then she just went, just do whatever monologue you want. Just do whatever monologue you want, fetus, and just make sure it's original. And I was like, okay. And then I decided to do The Breakfast Club. I think it was the ending. It was the speech at the very end of The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I would say this with Alia's auditions because she done them slightly different to me. Because she done the whole like here's a monologue, like do your own monologue thing, which I've never done. And I do think it threw quite a lot of people off. They were like, "What?"
Yeah, there were loads of people sending in auditions and stuff, and I was going through them all. I was going there going, they've not read the instructions.
Oh yeah, because this is the thing. Alia doesn't know this, but obviously Fetus is in charge of casting for Tusk, so he had the email so he could see everybody else who was auditioning.
So every time I saw another audition pop up and I just saw that it said audition for Jimi Andrews, I was just like, oh really?
That's nice.
Hmm.
So I remember we had one guy who auditioned. I can't remember. I won't name and shame because I don't remember his name. And he literally sent us a headshot, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
What are you doing?
They
This is
never
an
ended up
audio.
sending in an audition.
No, I'm like, what are you doing? I don't think you read the brief, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I will say this: anybody who auditions for TT, make sure you read the document before you send stuff in. One, because at the top it says like you must have a computer, so you can use Google and you XYZ ABC. Like, read the whole document. Don't just skim to the audition and hope for the best. Logic.
But
So,
yeah,
yeah.
that was like when you sent me the screenshot of Alia messaging you about me most likely playing Jimmy. I was literally there just going.
I mean, the cast is perfect.
The cast is brilliant.
And
yeah,
this is the thing though, and like I said before, R101 is probably the only audio I've done where I've gone, do you want this role? Do you want this role? Because I am a stickler for audition. If you want this role, you put the effort in to do it. Yeah. And every single one of the people cast in Shutter put the time and the effort in to get those roles. And I hope it gets the love it deserves. I really do.
It sounds like such a unique idea, and it's
a fantastic idea.
And that's another thing why I like doing it. I love doing Doctor Who stuff based in the world of Doctor Who, actual Doctor Who. But I love doing the original stuff as well because you really get to see people thinking of something and seeing that idea like grow into something that's never been seen before, something that's new and magnificent, and it always ends up turning out right and good.
Well, at the moment I'm writing obviously Match Girls,
and then you're writing
finally writing Match Girls. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Like, it's been on the back. It's not been one of those ones that's like, I'll do it soon. But there's all this. I have a list of stuff that I need to do, and I finally got to write in Match Girls, and I've basically finished it now. The basic casting call is already out, but the official casting call will probably be out in the next couple of weeks. So by the time this comes out, the casting call will probably be out for Match Girls, because I really want to get some new voices in. Which it'd be nice to get some new voices in. But then I'm also writing Reanimated.
Yes, and I'll say this right now. I find this very hilarious at the fact that you messaged me saying, "Which title do you think sounds better?" I say one, and then you go,
"That's nice."
Yes. However, I'll go with the other one.
No, I asked. So I gave 4 options, and I asked Jed, Chambers, Jim, Strax, and you, and most people went for Reanimated.
So, long story short, I've got really bad taste in naming a series.
But it's not like I don't even mind talking about the concept of it because I feel like it's going to be all revealed on the cover anyway, and it won't be out. I was probably looking about April, May sort of time. But it's zombies in Victorian London, and the roles, the cast at the moment is hilarious.
It looks so good. I love the characters you've got for it.
It's such a range because you've got like the snobby man who's like, oh no, women can't possibly do that, and then you've got the woman that's just like, okay, no, I can't because I am a woman, and then me being me. I went to a museum today, an operating museum, and that was purely to do research on one of the other characters. But yeah, and I've got a Florence Nightingale training nurse in that as well. because me being me, I was like, I'm going to set this in 1860. What happened in 1860? And then I'm like,
Crimean War.
I'm literally like, the Florence Nightingale for nursing and midwifery opened. I'm like, ooh, thank you. Well, it will have you all.
Thank you very much.
Because all the other stuff from like I've put like 1860 to like 1865, and the only other thing was like golf, and I'm like, oh, I can't use that. Golf.
However, I can kill one of them with a
Well,
golf
yeah,
club.
there is that, but I remember because I sent quite a few people the premise, because this wasn't originally. I was supposed to be writing an audio called Wasteland 2077. But then I was like, nah, I'm going to set it in Victorian London because that's my niche.
Go with you. Go with your
Go with
gut
what I
instinct.
know. And it is basically like Pride and Prejudice zombies, but like a little bit later in the Victorian era.
I feel like you know Victorian London more than you know modern day London.
Oh yeah, 100%, hands down. I got a clue. Like, oh look, the Shard. That was me today. Because that operating theatre museum is basically in the one remaining old building in the whole of that part of London, like Borough Market and stuff. And I went in there and then I came out and I was like, what's everybody looking? Oh, it's the Shard. Forgot about that. Only I could do that. Only I could do that.
I remember when we were talking about it earlier about the fact that they filmed Dodger in that operating theatre. They filmed one of the scenes of Dodger in that operating theatre. And you showed me that video of how many stairs there were up there.
I kid you not. Like, if you Google Operating Theatre London, like, it's a really narrow, windy staircase to go up. It's literally in the back end of nowhere. Like, if you didn't know it was there, like, but the thought of having to take all like cameras and God knows what else up all those stairs, like. Oh, but it was definitely a hidden gem. But I'm trying to do more of those, so stay tuned for me putting stupid pictures up everywhere, like history. So yeah, anything else you want to talk about within TT?
Oh, yeah, I guess I can mention Melvin, can't I?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, Quill.
Yeah, I play Quill in Melvin, who, again, is another character I absolutely love.
I love Melvin. That's another series that people need to listen to.
Melvin is such a fun series, and Strax, that's Matt's. It does get mentioned in Matt's conversation that we will all call him Strax.
Yeah.
It's just, I love hearing, because that was the first time I ever properly spoke to him.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, when we did Melvin, that was the first time I spoke to him on a call. So it was really bizarre where the first time I see him properly and I talk to him, he's Melvin. So he's just doing the Melvin. He joins the read-through
as Melvin. Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm literally losing my mind. And then he's just talking as Melvin throughout the whole thing, and then he starts talking normal. I was just like, oh wait, yeah, that is his normal voice. But Quill he appears in episode 2 and 3, and he's, the way I picture Quill is he is the Clyde Langer. He's very much street smart, and he's street smart and likes the cool action stuff, because there's I remember when in School of the Slovene, because in the script it basically said when the school blows up, like a Slovene arm drops in front of them all, and Kath, who played Honey, and then Strax both reacted like, ugh. And meanwhile Quill's just there just going, wicked. Nice. And
I always forget your Quill. Like,
yeah. I mean, I remember when we did the recording for episode 2, it was the read-through, and we figured, because the voice originally was so different when I sent in the audition, it was a completely different voice for Quill. And then we did the read-through, and I accidentally turned Cockney, and then we all just went.
Jack.
I literally went Jack, and we all just went, keep it.
Yeah, have that.
And it worked really nicely in the end. Yeah, but other than that, I've not. Other than that, that's my only other.
I think the reason why I always forget, because I'm in episode 1.
Yeah, and
then I disappear. I hope there's more of
Jennifer is
those.
gone.
Jennifer has gone to the north. Yeah, I'm hoping he does more of those. I'm sure he will do.
Oh yeah, well we I can't remember. I don't know if Behind the Duvet is going up by the time when we're recording this. I don't know if it's going up tomorrow because he uploaded everything weekly, obviously.
I honestly don't know. I don't know.
episode 3 came out like last week, so I'm guessing
Yes, it did,
the Behind the Duvet will come out most likely tomorrow. And we do say in that we are doing a second series of Melvin.
Fantastic.
And I'm writing the first episode.
Surprise!
Haha!
Right, so that was Fetus / Josh / Mr. Griggs / Jack. So my next guest is, look at my list.
I have no idea.
I do not know. The problem is I'm not recording these in order.
Oh, well done.
This is the problem. So, oh, that's confusing. My next guest is Jed.
Hello to the past.
So earlier, when I said that I spoke to Jed, I didn't speak to Jed. I've not done it yet. It's after Josh.
Don't know what you're talking about.
So yeah, my next guest is Jed.
Well, this is a fun way to end things.